Yo, what's up? It's your boy D2 Titans Only, and this is me slamming into hordes and mobs of enemies with my empowered melee and absolutely no cooldown. I have no idea how Bungie let this happen, but it all starts with the Arc subclass. For this build, we're going to be using the Arc Super Thunder Crash, which we're going to have off cooldown a lot. It's practically going to be never on cooldown, but we'll get to that later in the build. For our abilities, we're going to be running Rally Barricade, Strafe Lift, Ballistic Slam, and Pulse Grenade. Ballistic Slam is going to act like a mini Thunder Crash that we can constantly use and never have on cooldown, while we utilize our Arc Grenade to create ionic traces and generate our ability energy. We are going to be pairing this with the aspects Knockout and Touch of Thunder. Knockout is going to grant us Amplified and restore a portion of our health anytime we get a melee kill. Also, anytime we critically wound a target or break their shield, Knockout is going to infuse our melee attacks with arc energy and increase our melee damage and range for a short period of time. Our other aspect, Touch of Thunder, is going to allow our Pulse Grenade to create ionic traces as it pulses over time. It also increases damage and its duration. Now let's dive into the real game changers, the fragments that will make your build unstoppable. The first fragment in this build is the Spark of Ions. The Spark of Ions allows defeating a jolted target to create an ionic trace, which is going to help us get our abilities back up extremely quickly. The second fragment in the build is the Spark of Discharge. The Spark of Discharge allows Arc Weapon Final Blows to have a chance to create an ionic trace. It might seem a little weird to have two fragments that are generating ionic traces in our build, but honestly it makes a big difference and it comes in really handy when you're trying to get your abilities back off cooldown. The third fragment in the build is the Spark of Magnitude. The Spark of Magnitude is going to increase the amount of pulses our Pulse Grenade creates. This is going to increase the damage and increase the amount of ionic traces it creates. And last but not least, our fourth fragment is going to be the Spark of Shock. The Spark of Shock is going to allow our Arc Grenades to jolt targets that we hit. Now let's talk about weapon recommendations. For my primary slot, I've really been enjoying using the Tenacious Mastery. This gun is top tier and it's honestly just one of the best sidearms in the game right now. In my secondary slot, I've really been enjoying using the Pyroelectric Propellant. This gun is insane and it has some awesome perks that you can use. It has Bray Legacy, which any damage with this weapon generates a small amount of ability energy, and for the one closest to full charge, which is awesome for cycling our abilities. And it comes with Jolt Feedback and Eddy Current, which just synergize really well with Arc. And then for my heavy, I've been running the VS Chill Inhibitor. This gun is just broken and everybody got the God Roll for free, so why would I not use it? Now that weapons are out of the way, let's talk about the exotic armor piece we're using. For this build, we're using the Titan Helmet and an Insurmountable Skull Fort. The Insurmountable Skull Fort has an armor perk called Transfusion Matrix, which allows kills with arc melee abilities to trigger health regeneration and restore melee energy. This melee energy that's restored is actually all of it. So anytime you get an arc melee kill, it restores all of your arc melee energy. And if you're using Ballistic Slam, it's just going to give it to you right back and you can keep spamming your mini Thunder Crash. For armor mods on this weapon, I opted to do something a little bit different. I ran triple hands-on, which stacked really well with the authorized mods melee and the artifact mod. So they only cost one, and any kill we get with our melee gives us additional super energy based on the enemy rank, and since this stacks, we get our super up quite a lot. And if we ever miss our arc melee and don't get a kill with it, we can use Thunder Crash to get a kill, and then as soon as Thunder Crash gets a kill, your arc melee is regenerated and back off cooldown so you can keep spamming it. For my Gauntlet armor mods, I opted for double heavy-handed and firepower so that we could create orbs of power on grenade final blows and melee final blows. For the chest armor mods, I just ran whatever fit the encounter I was on, so feel free to change that as needed. And then for our leg armor mods, I decided to run Better Already so we could regenerate health upon picking up an orb of power, and then double Absolution so we could cycle our abilities and get them off cooldown every time we pick up an orb of power as well. And then for our Titan mark, we used double Outreach and Distribution so that we could reduce our cooldowns anytime we used our Rally Barricade. For the seasonal artifact mod, you want to make sure you have on authorized mods melee, Trace Evidence, Debilitating Wave, Retinal Burn, and Arc Compound, and all of these are great artifact mods and play a big role in an arc build. The general gameplay loop for this build is just spamming your Ballistic Slam as much as possible. To activate Ballistic Slam, you need to sprint around and then jump in the air and look down. Look for a group of enemies that you can dive on in one shot. If you miss though, this is very common if you're a crayon eating titan like myself, your melee ability will not be regenerated. But if you hit them, it'll be completely regenerated, your health will also be regenerated, and you'll just be able to keep spamming it as much as you want. If you guys like this build and want to see more like it, click the video in the middle of your screen. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and as always, peace!